Hey there everyone, what's up? Today I just wanted to make a quick video about Sega buying Atlus. Generally I don't, as I said in the original video about Atlus, I don't like to do these types of videos, kind of commenting on news. It's it's my least favorite type of video, I think. It's not, it's too timely in the sense that in a month from now, nobody will care about this video, including me. So, it's, I just, I don't like doing these types of videos. But because so many people asked, and I did make that other video, I figure I should make a follow-up just talking about how things turned out. So, of course, as I said in the original video, Atlus did not disappear or go out of business, or there was no need for all the crazy eulogy videos that were coming out at the time. As I said, a sponsor stepped in and took over the business. That's what happened. Exactly as, pretty much all the news sources had said, but nobody read. And, as we got through this kind of period where we were wondering what was going to happen, who was going to take over, we had a few people in contention, and we didn't really know who was bidding. I don't think they ever released that. I looked around for info, but there weren't that many people who were put forward as actually bidding. So I know a lot of people, the kind of fanboy contingencies, were hoping for their whatever console exclusive they could get. So people were hoping for Nintendo and hoping for Sony or whatever to buy Atlus, but I don't think there was ever any official kind of, acknowledgement that Nintendo was bidding on Atlus. I know there was some speculation as why they should, but I don't think there was ever anything that said, yeah, Nintendo is bidding on Atlus. I think that was entirely speculation on people's parts. They may have been, but, they might not have been. It's just, they never released a list. Maybe they will eventually, and this will be moot. But, the only person we really heard about was actually putting in a bid was Sega. And, beyond, when people hear Sega, those fanboy contingencies are already mad because they want Sony to buy it, they want Nintendo to buy it, because they're fanboys and they want one more kind of badge on their fanboy belt to, keep their, chosen company ahead of the others, or whatever it is that people need to, be so crazy about a single console or maker or whatever. And I think, people automatically jumped on this kind of oh, Sega sucks, or Sega doesn't localize their games, so Atlus is not going to localize their games anymore, or all this other kind of ridiculous, oh, Sega is going to ruin their franchises, they're going to put in Sonic and everything, or, stupid shit like that. But generally, that's based on a lot of kind of stupid misconceptions about the purchase, and I say stupid because, generally, if you read the articles and again, followed the links and actually read what was happening, you would understand that Sega and Atlus are not connected in any way in this case. And let me explain that. Sega Sammy Holdings is the people who bought Atlus. Sega Sammy Holdings is like an overseeing company. They own Sega. I mean, Sega is not that company. Sega Sammy Holdings is the main the parent company to Sega. So Atlus is another company under that holding company. They're not under Sega. They're under Sega Sammy Holdings, which is completely different. It means that the policies at Sega proper aren't bled over into Atlus. It's not run by Sega. The people who run Sega are not running Atlus. It's not how things work. Sega is creating a new company to run the businesses from Index Holdings, which is Sega Dream Corporation. You can look at that. It's in articles. It's in basically every article. So anybody who thinks that Sega's policies are affecting Atlus at any point are wrong. They're just wrong. They're straight up wrong. There's no There's no getting around that. And you know, the way Sega is working, the people who are running Sega aren't going to be the people who are running Atlus. So, no need to worry on that front. But also, personally, I think, since Sega was the only real choice that that was confirmed that we know about, Sega was a good choice. I thought. From the beginning, I thought Sega, they would be a really good choice. First of all, they're multi-platform, which is something that's necessary for Atlus because of the kind of nicheness of their titles. The stuff they distribute and localize in the U.S. is for various systems. Pretty much every system has something from Atlus localized on it. The games they make are on various systems. They make games for Sony. They make games for Nintendo. They put stuff out on the Xbox. It's everywhere. Atlus is everywhere, and that's a good thing. So, people who wanted that kind of like feather in their cap for their chosen fanboy console are, I don't know, angry about that. But, Sega is a good choice because, first of all, most importantly, I think, is that Atlus and Sega already have a business relationship in place. It makes sense for Sega to buy Atlus because they already know how Atlus works. They work together on a lot of projects already. Sega does distribution for Atlus in Japan. I mean, all of their distribution is handled by Sega. So they understand how the company works already, and they understand that the company is profitable. And with this kind of in place, this understanding that the company is profitable and this is how it works, there's a large doubt that they'll change anything major. It would be stupid. They know that the company makes money, and they know that this is how they do it. So it makes no sense for them to suddenly come in and start like cutting things or changing things or making things difficult for them. So, again, another worry that people seem to have was that Atlus is no longer going to localize things. Well, that's unfounded. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, that's what Atlus USA does. If Sega suddenly closes Atlus USA, then okay, you can worry. But there's no indication of that, and things seem to be fine. So, that's how things work. I think, Sega has been pretty platform agnostic. They're one of the big supporters for things like the Vita. They support the, PS4, the Xbox. They support the Nintendo Wii U a lot more than almost anybody. So, there's a lot of good stuff from having Atlus be kind of in that Sega Sammy Holdings kind of umbrella, I guess. If they can keep that kind of same platform agnostic view of things, it's a win-win for everybody. People on the Wii U might get stuff, and believe me, they need stuff. People on the 3DS need stuff. People on the Vita definitely need stuff too, from Atlus. At least in the US they do. In Japan we get like twice as many Vita titles as anybody else. So I'm not hurting for Vita titles, but for me, like, another reason I didn't want to really comment on this is that I don't have a dog in the fight here. It doesn't really matter to me what happens with the localization of Atlus games. I play all my Atlus games in Japanese, and I don't, it doesn't matter to me if they never come out in English again. I mean, it's a selfish viewpoint, but if you're asking for my opinion, that's what it is. I don't care. It doesn't really matter to me. As long as the Atlus is still making games, I don't care who they're doing it for. If they became a Wii U exclusive developer, I wouldn't care. I'd just buy a Wii U and leave it at that. But I don't know. That's about it. I don't really have much to say about this. I think, Sega is a good choice. Glad it's Sega and not Nintendo or Sony or some of the other mystery bidders. I mean, I'd actually be hard pressed to think of a better company than Sega. That's the only thing I can think of. I really would be. I can't think of a better choice, actually. So yeah, that's about it. This video is longer than I thought it would be. So whatever. I will talk to you guys next time.